This is Retro Sports Radio. Visit RetroSeasons.com for more sports history.
The New York Yankees faced the Kansas City Royals at Royals Stadium for Game 1 of the ALCS on October 9th, 1976. This is the national broadcast of Game 1 in the Best of Five series, featuring announcers Ernie Harwell and Ned Martin.
Hello again from Royal Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, where CBS Radio Sports is pleased to present the first game of the American League Championship Series between the Kansas City Royals and the New York Yankees. I'm Ned Martin, along with Ernie Harwell, and ready for the first pitch in just a few moments, which Larry Gura will make against his former ball club, the New York Yankees. The series starting here will be a day game today, of course, a night game on Sunday tomorrow. Then the series will shift to New York for a Tuesday night game. And, of course, the National League supposedly will open tonight in Philadelphia, where we understand that it's raining. But it's not raining here. The weather is perfect. We're set for baseball between these two clubs, and we'll be right back after this word.
Okay, we'll be getting back to Ernie Harwell of the Detroit Tigers and Ned Martin of the Boston Red Sox for all the action of Game 1 of the American League playoffs in just a couple of moments. As we mentioned, the situation in Philadelphia hanging in the balance on the weather. We did get a late report from the National Weather Service just about 15 or 20 minutes ago, indicating that they feel, by taking a look at radar weather, they feel that there's a possibility that rain, which is falling in Philadelphia right now, may stop at about 6 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. That's in about 5 hours from now. They figure they might have 2 hours prior to the start of that game in which there will be no rain. So we're just going to have to hang in there with it and see what happens. Cincinnati manager Sparky Anderson selected veteran lefty Don Gullett to pitch against Philadelphia Steve Carlton. Anderson dropping a small bombshell on Friday by saying he may not use a designated hitter if the Reds get into the World Series.
The umpiring crew and the managers have broken from home plate, and here are the starting lineups for the first game of the championship series in the American League. The New York Yankees playing center field and leading off Mickey Rivers. In left field, Roy White, batting number 2. The catcher, Thurman Munson, batting in the number 3 spot. The designated hitter today, Lou Piniella, batting 4th. Chris Chambliss is the first baseman, batting number 5. Greg Nettles at third base, hitting 6th. Elliot Maddox in right field, batting number 7. Willie Randolph, the rookie second baseman, batting 8th. And the shortstop, batting 9th, Fred Stanley. The pitcher for the Yankees will be James Augustus Catfish Hunter. For the Kansas City Royals, under manager Whitey Herzog, it'll be Amos Otis in center field in the leadoff spot. George Brett will be playing at third base, batting number 2. The designated hitter, Hal McRae, batting 3rd, lost by just a fraction of a percentage point in that American League batting race on the final day of the season to his teammate, Brett. John Mayberry at first base, batting number 4. Al Cowan is the right fielder, hitting in the number 5 position. Tom Poquette in left field, batting 6th. Frank White, the second baseman for the Royals, batting number 7. Tiny Freddie Patek at shortstop, batting number 8. And the catcher for the Royals is Buck Martinez. The pitcher, Larry Gura, with a 4-0 record this year and a 2.30 earned run average overall, with duty both with the Yankees, a very limited duty, and with the Royals. Catfish Hunter's earned run average, incidentally, 3.53, 17 and 15 on the year for Hunter, and 1 and 2 this year against the Kansas City Royals. The umpiring outfit goes like this. Larry Barnett will be not leave Joe Brinkman behind the plate. Joe Brinkman they had given up as Barnett, but Barnett is umpiring at first base. George Maloney is at second base. Bill Haller will call the plays at third. Down along the left field line will be Art France. And the right fielder will be Larry McCoy. So it's Brickman behind the plate, Barnett at first, Maloney at second, Haller at third, France at left, and McCoy in right.
To make the first pitch,
Royal Stadium. Ewing Kaufman, the owner of the Royals, is making a first pitch. They're going to throw out 2 balls this afternoon. Buck Martinez is catching them as Mr. Kaufman. And now Mrs. Kaufman will throw out the second pitch. And there's Mr. Kaufman, who brought baseball back to Kansas City as a home-owned team. Royal Stadium holds 40,762, and there aren't too many empty seats right now. Distances down the line, 330 to the foul poles in left and right. It moves out as the 12-foot wall curves around from foul pole to foul pole to the bullpen area and past the bullpen areas in right and left center, where it's 385 feet. 410 feet toward the deepest part of the field in deep right center and center field. The wall is 12 feet high. Beyond the wall, a big green bank with a Royals insignia and Royals and Yankees crests on the lawn, which was not only mowed out there, but sprayed and painted. The outfield on this artificial turf ball field is in perfect shape, as George Stoma has taken care of everything in perfect spots. There's a big scoreboard in center field, past the big bank, where nobody has yet hit one in this ballpark. It goes close to 500 feet if you hit that scoreboard on the fly. The bullpens in left field, the Yankee bullpen and the visiting bullpen in left, and the Royal bullpen in right. And the first base dugout belongs to the home team here, the Kansas City Royals. The Yankees are at third. Dick Hauser, the third base coach for the Yankees, moves out. Ellie Howard, the first base coach, as the Royals have already taken the field. Defensively, they will have a battery of Larry Gura and Buck Martinez. The first baseman, Big John Mayberry. Second baseman, Frank White. At shortstop, Freddie Patek. And at third base will be George Brett. The left fielder, Tom Poquette. The center fielder, Amos Otis. And the right fielder, Al Cowan. So we're set for baseball on a beautiful afternoon from Kansas City. The first of the series between the Royals and the Yankees. The best out of 5. So 2 games will be played here. 1, 2, or 3 will be played in Yankee Stadium in New York starting on Tuesday night. Right now, it's my pleasure to introduce one of the gentlemen of the game, which is something to say in our business sometimes. A veteran of sports baseball broadcasting over the years in both leagues with the Giants, the Orioles, the Tigers. Right now, one of the class people in baseball. One of his poems is in the Hall of Fame at Cooperstown. And a great pleasure for me personally to work with a longtime friend and the voice of the Detroit Tigers, Ernie Harwell. Thank you, Ned Martin. I appreciate those kind words. And hi, everybody, wherever you might be. A special greetings to the Armed Forces Radio listeners all around the world as we get ready for this classic here in Kansas City. The weatherman has blessed us with beautiful weather. Got a little bit of a breeze. It's blowing from the northwest at 14 miles an hour. That means it'll be blowing across the field from left field toward right. We've got what the ball players refer to as a high sky, no clouds to form a background for those high pop-ups, the fly balls, and it might be a little tough. Also, it's going to be very interesting to see how the Yankees play here on the Tartan turf, which they are not very familiar with, but which is the home turf for the Kansas City Royals. The Yankees are favored in this series. The Royals say that they can win it. So let's see. Larry Gura ready to sit. Mickey Rivers at the plate. And the first pitch on the way. It's funny. Toward third. It is a foul ball. Rolling foul picked up by Martinez about 10 or 12 feet down the third base side. So Rivers tried to surprise him right off the start with a little bunt toward third base. It was a good one, but it finally rolled foul. George Brett coming over now to talk to Gura. Gura is the left-hander from Arizona, one of the many graduates of Arizona State who's made it big in the major league. He had a 4-0 record this year, but no record at all, won and lost against the Yankees. Rivers batting .286, and he swings and fouls it off on the screen right down below him. Gura has a fastball. He's not exceptionally fast. He throws a slider and has an excellent changeup. The ball players say that he'll throw a change on his change. Basically a control pitcher. He has to pitch the spot. Rivers waiting. The left-hand batter swings. Bonding ball to third. Brett Brett at the corner. Long throw to first. Not in time. It gets by Mayberry. Rivers is taking second. Mayberry chases the ball down, and Rivers slides in safely at second base. Brett hesitated for a moment.
And then through the first base, he tried to pick off the fleet Rivers, but he threw while and late, and we'll wait for the official scorer's decision. It'll be an error and a single. Probably that he would have been better off just holding the ball. I believe so. That hesitation you mentioned, Ernie, was why he did it, whether he couldn't get the ball out of his glove or not, or whether he was waiting for Mayberry to come over to cover. And John might have been wide of the bag enough. So it's a break right off the bat for the Yankees, and Mickey Rivers has been making them all year. And the ball was very close to the line. It was not an easy play for Brett at all, but he'll be charged with an error. Here's Roy White, the switch batter, batting .286 over the season, 14 home runs, 65 runs batted in. Gura delivers a fastball high and outside on White. Rivers with a single, taking second on the wild throw by third baseman Brett. Well, the Yankees have an early threat going here in Kansas City. Outfield is straight up on the right-hand batting White. Gura delivers. It's a ball in close to the fastball. Rivers had 43 steals and 50 chances, and he's the man to be reckoned with on the bases. Most of the base stealers like to run on this Carson turf. They feel they got a better jump and a better start. Outfield bunching up the middle on White. Waiting, Gura, the left hand's one of the plate. It's in too close. 3-0 to count on Roy, the Yankee veteran. Brett is about even with the bag at third and wide of it slightly. Protek and White out around second. It's bunched toward the bag. Mayberry is playing wide at first base. White digging in, spreads out. See if he's taking a hitting on this one. He's taking, and it's outside. Ball 4. Oh, the Yankees have 2 men on and nobody down. And Thurman Munson, doubted by many as the most valuable player in the American League, coming to bat. Big, sturdy right-hand batter ready to step in against the left-hand pitching of Gura. Munson hit .302 for the season, had 17 home runs, and 105 runs batted in. Gura in early trouble here against his old teammates, the Yankees. Infield in double play depth on Munson. Outfield around the left. And Gura pitches. It's a foul out of play. That one reaching the seats in the mezzanine. Elson Howard is the first base coach for the Yanks. Dick Hauser coaching at third. Beautiful day, bright and sunny. The Yankees with an early threat. They've got Rivers at second base. They've got White at first. That's the pitch. It's a breaking ball low. Good stop by Buck Martinez to catch it. Gura has slowed his pitching pace now with Munson at the bat. No score. We're in the first inning. The Yankees have 2 men on and nobody down. Set, the kick, the pitch. It's a line shot to the field. Base hit. Rivers coming around third. That's where the ball is loaded. And they hold him at third. The bases are loaded. Otis coming up quickly with that ball. Shooting through the Carson turf. He picked it up and fired into the catch of Martinez. Rivers was held at third.
Number 14.
So we've got the bases loaded for New York. And a former Kansas City player, Lou Piniella, stepping up. The game time temperature reading now 63 degrees here in Kansas City. Bird has begun to throw already in the Kansas City bullpen, the right-hander.
Jeff Bird is throwing in the Royals bullpen. Jeff Bird.
Oh, there have been 2 singles with a walk in between. Also an error by Kansas City, and the Yankees have 3 men on and nobody down. Here's Piniella, and he swings and misses. There's that change-up by Larry Gura. Piniella pulled the trigger much too soon on that one. Lou batted .281 during the season. Had 3 home runs, drove in 38 runs. Young man from Tampa waiting. Here's the pitch to Pinella. He takes the strike from the outside corner. Now Gura got the corner there with a fastball. Well, the scouts say that basically Pinella is a fastball hitter and a low ball hitter. Now the windup by the left-hander. The pitch he takes outside. That was a waste pitch. No score, first inning. The Yankees have a gigantic threat on against Kansas City. They've loaded the bases with nobody down. Munson at first base. White at second. Mickey Rivers at third. 1-2 count on Pinella. Digging in, waiting now on the left-hander Larry Gura. Here's the windup and the pitch. He swings and fouls it away. That one off the mitt of Martinez, the catcher. Pinella is rather hard to guard against in the outfield. He'll hit to any of the fields. Sometimes a bad ball hitter. Rivers keeping an eye on Gura. He'll be working off the windup here with the bases loaded and nobody out. No score, first inning. Here's the motion. Here's the pitch. Pinella swings and there's a foul out of play. Into the mezzanine, and a man from Raytown will take care of that one. That breeze here, Ned, may be a factor. It's going pretty hard. Yeah, it is. The left or right breeze, and might help a ball hit down the right field line. It's harder than we thought it was when we came out here. Kansas City infield still playing back in double play depth. As Gura goes to work again on the Pinella with the bases loaded. The left-hander winds and delivers. There's a cut and a miss. That was a bad pitch. It's like a high fastball, and Pinella goes down on strike. Gura still in trouble. Now faces Chris Chambliss, the left-hander batting first baseman, who came to the Yankees, you remember, from the Cleveland Ball Club.
Number 10.
Had a fine year this year. He batted .293, had 17 home runs, and 96 runs batted in. Chambliss at one time had trouble handling the high fastball. There's a curve in tight on him. Ball one, the count on Chris. Bases loaded with the Yankees. One man down. No score. First inning. Otis is over slightly in left center against Chris Chambliss. Now the motion and the pitch. He swings and fouls it away. That one back to the screen. 1-1. That was the fastball in tight on him. Chambliss says the only way he's learned to handle that pitch is to use his hands more. Munson is an expert at that, his teammate. Getting the hands in even at the last split second. Bases loaded, one out. Yankees threatening first inning. Gura winds, delivers. Chambliss swings on the bounding ball to third. Brett gloves it, touches third. One there for the first. Mayberry gets past Mayberry. Rivers has scored. Coming around third now is Munson. He's headed home. Here's a throw by Cowens for the plate. And he scores. It gets by Martinez. He's backed up by Gura. And the Yankees score a couple of runs on the fourth out of the era and take the lead here in the opening inning 2-0. They end up with a man at second base and two men out. And the batter will be Neville. Quite a play there, Mr. Martin. I imagine that would have to be scored a fielder's choice, one run batted in, and an error on Brett, which is his second of the inning. And George has had more trouble this year with the throwing from third base. He doesn't usually make that many. He made quite a few errors this year, and the throwing bothered him. He said earlier in the season that maybe it was because he was hitting so well that he just lost concentration on his fielding. So the Yankees, who might have been out of the inning without a run, now have two. And Nettles, a tough hitter at the plate, left-hand batter, the home run king in the American League with 32. Swings and lifts a fly ball to left field. Poquette, fighting the sun and the wind, makes the catch, and the inning is over. But the Yankees take the lead as they got two runs on two hits. There were two Kansas City errors, one man left for New York. And in the middle of the first inning, it is New York 2 and Kansas City coming to bat. We've gotten word from the National League on what the league intends to do in the event of a rainout in Philadelphia or in the event of the further worsening weather conditions. A Philadelphia Phillies spokesman said the opening National League playoff game against the Reds is expected to be played despite forecasts of rain. Bill Giles, the executive vice president of the club, said he had been in constant touch with various weathermen, and they indicate that the rain should stop by about 6 o'clock. That's in about 4 hours and 45 minutes from now. The Phillies have not had a game rained out all season. National League President Chuck Feeney, who will make the decision whether to play or not, said at noon that as a result of the weather report, we don't plan to call the game until tonight, meaning, of course, Saturday night. He said, that's the way we're planning unless the weather report gets turned around. But I'll tell you one thing, it is not going to be Chuck Feeney who's going to make the decision whether to play or not. It's going to be the plate umpire, because in a situation like this, they always go ahead and authorize the umpire to make that decision for the league president. The league president generally does not have the knowledge and the understanding on how weather patterns work and how it affects the field of play. So he just says, let the plate umpire do it in my name, and that's exactly what will happen Saturday night.
Two costly throwing errors by George Brett of Kansas City, the man at third base, giving the Yankees a 2-0 lead here in the opening inning. And Ned, the curious thing about those throws were they were both in about the same spot. And he really didn't have to hurry that one, Ernie. He would have had a double play, I feel sure. The ball was sharply hit. He was near enough to the bag to get the fourth out, and enough to go over there to first base to get the runner in Chambliss, who was fast enough, but he hasn't blazing speed. And if he'd had the throw there, well, the inning would have been over. Well, Catfish Hunter ready to go to work now, and Otis, Brett, and McRae will be the first three Kansas City batters. Whitey Herzog has made a change, moving Otis into the leadoff spot, and Whitey's theory is he wants to get his three good batters right up there at the top, where they will have as many times at bat as possible. Remember, Bobby Bragan used to have the theory that he would lead off with his best hitter because that man would come to bat more often than anybody else. Well, here's Otis. Set a club record with 40 doubles this year. He's hitting .279 for the season, and Catfish delivers. It's a breaking ball low, ball one. Hunter, a very fine professional. He has excellent control and a good variety of pitches. Not overpowering, but he's got a lot of savvy. There's a ball outside on Amos, who started the bomb and took it. 2-0 on the Royal leadoff man. Nettles is fairly deep at third base at this moment. Yankees lead 2-0. They got two on the throwing errors by Brett in the opening inning. Wind up by Hunter. The pitch is bunted toward third. Hunter off the mound. He feels it. Here's the throw to first. He is out. Good play by Catfish. Firing the ball over to Chambliss in time to get the speedy Amos Otis.
Batting second, number 5, George Brett.
Here's the American League batting champion, George Brett, coming up. He had a fabulous year. Led the league with a .333 mark. Had 7 home runs, 67 runs batted in. Young man who broke into this Kansas City lineup at the age of 20. Back in 73. There's a curve low from the Catfish, ball one. Mickey Rivers is very shallow in center field on the left-hand batting Brett, and he takes the strike. Now, Brett will go to the opposite field a lot, following the series taught him by the batting coach, Charlie Lau. Catfish goes into motion again, delivers. Here's a bounding ball to third, knocked down by Nettles. He picks it up, throw to first, got him. He took a hit away from Brett. So far, Ernie, the book has been completely wrong. It said that the Royals would out-defense the Yankees. The Yankees might have some problems defensively, but there's two fine plays, one by Hunter and one by Nettles. Here's Hal McRae now, who finished second to his teammate in the batting race, Brett. He batted .332. Right-hand batting designated hitter takes the pitch in close. 2-0 Yankees in the opening inning. He jumped out in front early. Right-hander Hunter delivers. McRae swings and fouls it on the screen. Hal's not a power hitter, He had 8 home runs over the season, 73 runs batted in. He stands deep with his feet rather close together. One of the few Royals who's had the championship series experience. He swings and misses on a breaking ball, and the count is 1-2. 2 out, nobody on for the Royals. They trail the Yanks 2-0. Rivers again playing very shallow. He's over in right center on McRae. The right-hand batter cuts and misses, and the inning is over. The Royals go down 1-2-3, and at the end of the first inning, it is New York 2, Kansas City 0.
A number of college football games on tap, as you might expect on this Saturday. Let's take a look and see where the ranked teams are playing. In the East, Louisville is at second-ranked Pittsburgh. Saturday night, Florida State plays at 17th-ranked Boston College. In the South, 7th-ranked Maryland is at North Carolina State. 4th-ranked Georgia plays at Mississippi. In the Midwest, 5th-ranked Nebraska is at Colorado. 11th-ranked Ohio State plays at Iowa. 9th-ranked Missouri is at Kansas State. In the Southwest and Far West, 3rd-ranked Oklahoma plays at Texas. That game will be broadcast later in the day over many of these same AFRTS stations. 18th-ranked Texas Tech is at 16th-ranked Texas A&M. West Texas State is at 19th-ranked Houston. Stanford is at 6th-ranked UCLA, and 10th-ranked Southern California is at Washington State. Not scheduled, 12th-ranked Notre Dame, 13th-ranked Florida, 15th-ranked Arkansas, and 20th-ranked Tulsa.
CBS Radio Sports is bringing you play-by-play action in the American League Championship. And there's more to come. The World Series starts October 16th. That's next Saturday. And you'll hear exclusive radio coverage, play-by-play of the 1976 World Series, right here on the CBS Radio Network station. The Royals have made a lineup change. Jim Walford goes into play left. Cowan moves into center field, and the starting left fielder Poquette goes into play right. All necessitated by an injury to Amos Odie. He hurt his ankle running out that bunt on which he was tossed out by Hunter in the last half of the first inning. 2-0, the Yankees lead the Royals in the opening game of the championship series. Second inning, Elliott Maddox at the plate. Batting .217 for the year. He swings and fouls it out of play. It'll be a high one that'll reach the seats back at first base. Maddox is stationed in right field. A fairly strange position to him, although he's played it before. He was on the inactive list for a year and a half, and is still somewhat hobbled with a leg injury. No home runs this year. 3 runs batted in for Elliott. And he taps the foul on a check swing. That one back into the dirt behind the plate. 2 strikes count on him. Larry Gura had a tough time in that opening inning. Ran into a little turbulence as the Yankees picked up 2 on 2 hits aided by 2 errors by Brett. There's a fastball outside. He wasted that one. 1-2, the count on Elliott Maddox. Maddox came to the Yankees, you remember, from the Texas team. Also been at Washington and Detroit prior to that. And he swings and fouls it away. It'll be in the seats over on the first base side. The outfield is playing around to right a little bit on Maddox, playing him to hit the ball late. Infield is very deep. They'll have a tendency here on the Tartan surf to play a lot deeper than they do on natural grass. Gura, the left-hander, kicks and deals. There's a bounding ball to short. It's deep. Potheck is over. He has it. Here's a throw to Mayberry in time, and Maddox is out. Well, Freddie Potheck, celebrating his 32nd birthday, tosses out El Maddox. Here's Willie Randolph, the former National Leaguer, one of the many Yankees who's been in the playoffs. Named by the Yankees from the Pittsburgh Ball Club. Right-hand batter. It's .267 for the season. Gura left hands one up, and it's fouled away. That was his changeup. Randolph started the swing, checked it, and then the ball hit the bat and ricocheted away. Joe Brinkman getting a new baseball from the ball boy. Outfield a little bit to left on the right-hand batting Randolph. He swings on a bounding ball wide of third. Picked up by Brett. Throw to first. Got him. Good play by George Brett going to his left. And short hopping the hard grounder. So there are 2 down. Nobody on for New York. They lead 2-0 in the second inning. And here's the shortstop, Fred Stanley. Fred batting .238. When the season started, he and Mason were alternating. They were being platooned by manager Billy Martin. Stanley eventually won the job. Right-hand batter waiting, and he takes the strike. Got the outside corner. Something about this guy. He has knocked in 20 runs in the year, and I think about 10 of them were against the Red Sox. He's tough in the clutch. It's a pitch outside on Stanley, and the count even on him at 1-1. 2-0. The Yanks have the lead. We're in the second inning. Larry Gura lines and pitches. There's a line shot, right field, base hit. Kochek coming over the glove side to field it. Stanley makes a turn, holds with a long single down to the right field corner. That'll give the Yanks their third hit. They've all been singles. And here's the man who picked up the first one, Mickey Rivers. Rivers wanted to start the ball game and beat it out. Incidentally, when Ned Martin speaks to the Red Sox, he's an authority. He is the voice of the Boston Red Sox. And has been for about 16 years. Here's the pitch to Mickey. He swings and misses. Rivers was safe on the bunt. Then took second when Brett overthrew at first base. Then the Yankees loaded the bases. Vanilla struck out. Chambers hit into a fourth out, but the throw by Brett let 2 runs in. That's how the Yankees got their 2. Here's a wide curve from Gura, and they count even 1-1 on Rivers. Rivers had shoulder problems toward the end of the year, but they seem to have subsided. 2 out, 1 on. Yanks ahead 2-0. Stanley with a short lead at first base. And the pitch is a strike. Amos Otis is out of the game. They made an outfield change here we told you about earlier because he sprained his left ankle. He's a very valuable man, and he will be missed. Here's the set by Gura, the left-hander ready to Rivers. Rivers swings and misses on the change-up, and the inning is over. Struck him out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. And in the middle of the second inning, the score, New York 2, the Royals 0.
Taking a look at other sports news, World Heavyweight Champion Muhammad Ali, in an interview published on Saturday, has left open the possibility of returning to the ring again despite his announced retirement. But the 34-year-old Ali told the developed newspaper in Germany over the telephone that there would be no other world championship bout for him. He says, "My decision to retire from boxing is definite, and that's it." Ali says he's made lots of money with his manager, Herbert Muhammad, but he said, "Now I've made an end." He says, "I only work and live for my religion." According to Ali, he said if he should enter the ring again, it would be for the sole purpose to financially support his black brethren, to support hospitals and help the poor and the old people of his religion. He said if he should box again, and then only for Allah, he said there would be no other world championship match for him. He says that is definite. Interesting point, though. How much money would he get just fighting a fight as opposed to how much would he get if he was fighting for the world championship?
Yankees 2, the Kansas City Royals 0. We're in the second inning here of the first game in the American League Championship Series, sometimes called the Playoff Series, although officially it is the American League Championship Series. And John Mayberry was a big home run producer last year, but then slumped off a little bit in his home run production, but still is always a threat. Will be leading off for the Kansas City Royals. John's averaged 27 home runs and 94 runs batted in each year since he joined the Royals in '72. And last year batted .232. Last year he had 13 home runs, but he still managed to knock in 95 runs.
Big, strong left-hand batter, and often they will shift on him, and that's what the Yankees are doing now. They're putting 3 infielders on the right side, and they're playing very deep on him. Catfish delivers, and it's the ball outside. A lot of the opposition pitchers will try to make Mayberry go to the opposite side. And the pitch on the way. It's a strike. He got the outside corner.
Florida Knight called the stadium operator.
Scouts say that he has trouble hitting the ball down and in. There's a ball outside. Catfish with a tug of the cap now looking in to get the sign. Mayberry steps out of the batter's box. The Yanks have the lead here in the opening game. 2-0 in the second inning. Mayberry waiting. Hunter delivers. Here's a swing and a miss. In the outfield, it's White in left for the Yankees. Rivers in center, Madison right. Here's the motion by Catfish Hunter. The pitch is swung on and fouled away. It's down on the third base side. Going back to that first inning, if you like to keep score and take account of such things, Chambliss was recorded as having an RBI on the force-out throwing error. Here's a fly ball lifted into left field. White coming in, digging hard. He's there, makes the catch. Soft, short fly to left, picked off by Roy White. And Catfish Hunter has set down the first 4 Royals he's faced. Now, Ernie, in the workout yesterday, Billy Martin wanted to make sure that his outfielders got used to this sun field out here. This time of day, between 12 and 2, it's kind of rough out in left field. Not like the old Yankee Stadium days in September, but somewhat like it, and you have to be a little careful. Here's Cowan stepping in now. He batted .265 this year. Right-hand batter swings and lifts the foul out of play. He'll be directly back at the plate. In the infield for the Yankees, Nettles is at third. They've got Stanley at short. Randolph at second. Chambliss at first base. Munson is the catcher. Yanks lead 2-0 second inning. There's a fly ball into short center field. Going back is Randolph. He's there and makes the catch. Stanley started for that one, then gave way to his second baseman, Randolph. The ball just out past second base from short center. The Royal bats have not done anything yet against Hunter. Tom Poquette, he's had numerous operations and quite a few battles of the fences around the organized baseball park. Stepping in now. Poquette, the first rookie ever to hit .302, ever to hit over 300 in Kansas City history. Hits the ball outside. He batted .302 this season, had a couple of home runs. He was out almost a month. Ran into a fence chasing a fly ball against Chicago. There's a fly hit foul in the seats down in the left field side. 1-1, the count on Poquette. Yanks 2, Royals nothing. We're in the second inning. Nobody on base. The pitch is swung on, hit off the glove of Hunter. Here comes Randolph to pick it up. Out of first, he got him. Good play. It'll be Hunter to Randolph to Chambliss. And the side retired with no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. At the end of 2 innings, the score, Yankees 2, Royals nothing. Well, the big question in Philadelphia, will it be a green light or a stop sign for the Cincinnati Reds on the base paths of Veterans Stadium? The Reds and Phillies getting set to open a best-of-5 series for the National League pennant, and the whole thing may hinge on the Reds runners and their base-stealing attempts. The Reds-Phillies game following the earlier American League playoff opener, which you're listening to right now on the Parade of Sports. Just a year ago, the Reds chased the Pirates out of the National League playoffs and stole everything but the smile on catcher Manny Sanguin's face. Manny, the original good humor man, retained that, but not much else. The Go-Go Boys of Cincinnati, second baseman Joe Morgan, right fielder Kenny Griffey, and shortstop Dave Concepcion. They're all fast and even more specialists in base stealing. Obviously, the secret of base stealing is to get the jump on the pitcher, and that, of course, is after you get on base. And the Reds are very good at that, as Cincinnati in the National League was the top hitting team, finishing at a .280 team batting average. Here come the Yankees to bat in the third. They have a 2-0 lead over the Royals. The story so far, the Yankees in the first inning taking advantage
of throwing errors by George Brett, the Kansas City third baseman. Combining with a couple of hits in the walk, they picked up 2 runs. Joe Brinkman, the plate umpire, has come out and said a word or two to the left-hand pitcher, Larry Gura. Gura will be pitching to Roy White. White walked in the opening inning.
The left fielder, Roy White.
Royals do not have a runner so far. Catfish has blanked them in both runs and hits. And the Yankees have 2 runs and 3 hits. Here's White, and he swings and fouls it away. It'll be in the seats over on the first base side. White just about the veteran in point of service on this ball club. 33 years old. He takes a curve that's a little bit close to miss the inside corner. 1-1. Outfield a little bit to left on him, and the infield back. Third baseman Brett just behind the bag and wide of it at third. White sometimes likes to bunt. Here's the pitch. He takes the strike. That was a breaking ball in the inside corner. 1-2 on Roy. White became a switch hitter very early. In fact, in his boyhood days, he was a switch hitter when he even started out. He swings and hits a little pop fly off the first. Here comes Mayberry near the seats, and he won't get it. It's just into the seats. That ball not hit very high would have been a tough catch for John, even had it been available. So White has stood up there with a 1-2 count on him. Yanks 2 and the Royals nothing. We're in the third inning on a bright, sunshiny day in Kansas City. Jammed house here in the Royal Stadium. Gura ready to go to work again now. The left-handed of action winds, delivers. White swings to the bounding ball deep third. Brett backs up, has it. Here's the throw to Mayberry in time, and White is up. A lot of business, Ned, on that side of the infield for Kansas City. I think those last 2 plays that Brett has made have helped him, especially the good one an inning ago on the staff hop. When he made a good play, and I think now he's straightened out his throwing, and that would have to help him mentally. I would think so, because those first 2 were very tough on him. Here's Munson. He had a single up the middle his only trip. One of the real tough hitters in the Major League, Thurman Munson. Man from Kent State swings. It's a bounding ball to short. Contact is there. They throw to Mayberry in plenty of time, and there are 2 down in the Yankee third inning. That will bring up Lou Piniella.
Lou Piniella.
Lou being used by Billy Martin as the designated batter. Billy has managed teams into 2 championship series, Minnesota and Detroit. But each time his team lost in the playoff game. First playoff managerial experience for Whitey Herzog. Here's a ball outside on Piniella. Fastball wide of the plate. First time up, he struck out. At that time, there were the bases loaded and nobody down when he fanned. Now Lou takes a curve in close from the left-hander Larry Gura. Yanks 2, Royals nothing. We're in the third inning. Outfield around toward left, and the infield very deep now on Piniella with 2 down and the bases empty. So Gura goes into motion, delivers. It's a foul fly out of play back of first base. Have to hand it to Gura. He settled down after that tricky first inning. A lack of support cost him. Piniella waits on the next delivery. Here it comes. He swings. There's a little looper into short left field. May drop in. Wolford coming hard. Plays it on 1 hop, and Piniella has a 2-out single. The last 2 hits for the Yankees have come with 2 down. And their first 2 in the opening innings came with nobody out. Here's Chris Chambliss coming to bat now. He hit into a 4th in the opening inning, and that was the key play of the game so far. After Brett had touched third for the 4th out of Roy White, he threw the ball wild past Mayberry, and 2 Yankees scored. And that's the story here in the early chapters in Kansas City. Chambliss swings and fouls it away right down below it. Strike one on Chris. Lou Piniella, the runner at first base. Gura with a pretty good move to first. Mayberry's not going to hold right on the bag with Piniella. He'll be between the runner and the base. Here's a ball outside. 1-1. Chambliss is a closed stance hitter. And he'll go to left field quite a bit. Here's the pitch on the way. He swings a bounding ball up the middle. It's past the second baseman White into center field. Piniella holds it second on the single. Throw comes into Freddie Potek. He leaps and grabs it. And the Yankees have a 2-out threat. Runners at first and second, and Greg Neville's coming to bat. Neville's the home run king in the American League with 32. He made the final out of the first inning. His only time at bat when he flied to left. Neville's asking Joe Brinkman, I believe, to move umpire Maloney over a little bit. That's right. He's in the line of vision of the batter. Oh, we've got a left-hander against the left-hander. Outfield around toward right on Greg Neville. Gura delivers, swing, and a miss on a fastball. This is the first Yankee home run champion since Roger Maris back in 1961. But over the years, the Yankees have had more than their share. Now the set of the pitch. He swings at a bounding ball at the second. White playing him deep. Charges, gloves it. They throw to Mayberry in the inning. No runs on 2 hits, 2 errors. 2 Yankees are left. We go to the last half of the third. The middle of the third inning. The score, the Yankees 2, the Royals nothing.
Just one game in the National Hockey League on Friday night. The New York Rangers over Colorado by the score of 5-3. In the World Hockey Association, Indianapolis 4-3 over Minnesota. Winnipeg beat Calgary 3-1. Birmingham 4, Houston 2. Edmonton down New England 2-0, and Phoenix outgunned Cincinnati 8-6. In the National Basketball Association, and these are all exhibition games, Philadelphia 134, Boston 103, Buffalo 107, Washington 106. Cleveland beat Detroit 100-95, and it was San Antonio 126, Atlanta 102. In college football, Oklahoma's third-ranked and defending national champion Sooners will take on arch rival 14th-ranked Texas at Dallas in one of the key football games Saturday. And, of course, we'll be keeping you right up to date with all of those games as the scores come on into us here at AFRTS in Washington.
Enjoying the playoffs? Well, enjoy the World Series, too, with exclusive radio coverage from CBS Radio Sports, starting this Saturday on this CBS Radio Network station. Frank White will lead it off for the Kansas City Royals. Catfish Hunter has set them down 6 in a row so far here in the bright sunshine in Royal Stadium. Now the Yankees have a 2-0 lead. Leading off for the Royals, number 20. Right-hand batting White. He's a graduate of the Royal Academy that is no more, but started to develop youngsters into Major League ball players, and he's the only one who made it to the Major League. Batting .229 for the year, and White takes a flatter low and away from Catfish Hunter. Ball 1, the count on Frank White. Royals are still looking for their first hit. There's a foul back to the screen, 1-1 on White. White in his third full season with Kansas City. He was up just a short time in '73. bent at the knees, leaning over the plate, waiting on a 1-1 pitch. He bunts the ball. It's foul back to the screen. Hunter gave him a pretty tough pitch to bunt, high and tight. And he bunted it, but it went right back and on the screen. Frank White grew up almost in the shadow of the old ballpark here in Kansas City. Over on Brooklyn Avenue. There's a ball outside, a wide curve, and the count on White is 2-2. Munson turns and says something to the plate umpire, Joe Brinkman. Yankees lead in this one 2-0. The Royals are batting in the third. Catfish gets this sign from Munson. Works again. 2-2 third. Swung on a bounding ball to third. Big hop for Nettles. Throw to Chambliss. He's out. 7 in a row. Stepped down by Catfish Hunter. And here's Freddie Patek. Saw service in the championship series with Pittsburgh. Oh, he came over here to Kansas City. First joined the Royals in 71. Versatile ball player. One out. There's a slider in for a strike. Fred said today, yep, I'm 32, but I can still outrun a lot of these young guys. And he's telling it right. There's a fly ball at the left. White backing up. He's there waiting. He has it. And there are 2 down. And the first 8 have gone down in a row before Mr. Catfish Hunter.
Number 21.
Here's Buck Martinez, the catcher. Who batted 228 over the season. Yanks got a couple in the opening inning. And they're holding a 2-0 lead right now. Martinez originally with the Philly team. In their organization. There's a strike call. Catfish mixing his pitches well. He hit the outside corner with a slider. Now the windup by Hunter. The pitch on the way. It's a ball outside. Chuck Hiller coaches at third for KC. Steve Boris at first. Now the motion, the pitch on the way. It's a little foul ball in the air. Back at first. Chambliss chasing, but he can't get it. Sort of a check swing. He didn't get much wood on that one. 1-2, the count on Martinez. Catfish Hunter, one of the top pitchers in baseball. Never pitched in the minor league. He belonged to the Daytona Club back in 64, his first year, but he didn't get into action. Here's a cut on the miss. He struck him out, and the side retired. And once again, the Royals go down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 3 innings, it is Yankees 2, the Royals nothing.
We have some college football scores in from the East. Boston University and Massachusetts. Massachusetts leading by the score of 6-0. That's at the end of the first quarter. And I thought we had another one in, but I don't see it right now. So we'll settle for that as our first college football score of the day. Massachusetts leading Boston University by the score of 6-0. That's at the end of the first quarter. Elsewhere in the East, Pennsylvania is playing at Brown, Holy Cross is at Colgate, Princeton is at Columbia, Cornell at Harvard, Army is taking on Penn State, Louisville is at second-ranked Pittsburgh, Connecticut is at Rutgers, Tulane at Syracuse, West Virginia at Temple, Richmond is at Villanova, and Dartmouth is playing at Yale. That's a look at what's going on in college football in the East. We'll take a look at the rest of the schedule for you the next time we get a chance.
Yanks maintaining the lead 2-0. They've got some perfect pitching from Catfish Hunter through the first 3 innings. Step down the 9 Royals he's faced. Meanwhile, the Yankees picked up a couple off the left-hand start of Kansas City, Larry Gura. They got him in the first inning on a bunt single by Rivers. He took second on a throwing error by Brett. White walked. Thurman Munson singled to load the bases. Then after Bonella struck out, Chambliss hit a ground ball to Brett. He touched third for the 4th out. and the second out of the inning, but then overthrew at first base, and 2 Yankee runs came home. That's the story of the game so far. Along with Ned Martin, this is Ernie Harwell in Royal Stadium. And the batter for New York is Elliott Maddox. One-time University of Michigan star. Bounces to short his first trip. Gura delivers, he backs him off. Inside fastball around the knees. The Yankees have 5 hits, and they've all been singles. Kansas City has no hits. Swing a fly ball to right, coming over Poquette. He's there, has it. That's 1 away. Willie Randolph, who has solidified this Yankee infield with some great second basing. Also done a good job on offense with his speed and with his bat. Stepping in now for the New Yorkers. He bounced to third his first trip. Game of the Yankees, you remember in the Doc Medic deal. Now left-hander Gura pitches. There's a breaking ball over. He changed up on his curve and got that ball on the inside corner. Right-hander batting Randolph, waiting on a strike 1 delivery from the lefty Gura. There's the fastball, hit the left field fairly deep. Going back, Wolford, he's there, and he makes the catch on the run towards center. Left field is very deep here, and it is a tough home run park. 385 back to that left center field alley, and a high fence. Here's Fred Stanley, the shortstop who weighed in with a single with 2 out in the second inning. 2 down in the Yankee fourth. Yanks lead the Royals 2-0. Gura fires. It's a line shot. It'll be up the alley. Chased down by Cowan. It's off his glove. It gets past him. He picks it up. Stanley going for 2, and he rounds and holds at second. Tough job to cut that ball off in the alley on this tartan serve. Cowan's got his glove on it and did very well to hold him to 2. It'll be a double, the first extra base hit of the game. On the supposedly light-hitting Stanley, the only man with 2 hits. It's Mickey Rivers. He has a bunt single and he struck out. Right up on top of the plate, batting in a crouch. And he takes the ball outside. That's the real crouch, the old stomachache crouch. He's also forward in the batter's box. Rivers, with that great speed is, Brett has to come in a little bit closer to third base. And he swings as they drive to center field. Coming hard is Cowan. He has it. And that's all for the Yankees in their 4th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. And in the middle of the 4th, it's New York 2, Kansas City nothing.
Continuing with a look at what's on the schedule for college football. 7th-ranked Maryland is at North Carolina State. Virginia Tech is at VMI. Southern Mississippi is at Alabama. Furman at Appalachian State. Tennessee taking on Georgia Tech. Georgia, 4th ranked in the latest poll, is at Mississippi. Kentucky is at Mississippi State. Clemson is at Wake Forest. Delaware at William and Mary. And that's it on the day schedule. At night in the South, the University of Chattanooga plays at Citadel. Southern Illinois at East Carolina. Vanderbilt is at LSU. Auburn at Memphis State. Duke at Miami of Florida. McNeese State is at Northeast Louisiana. Nichols State at Northwest Louisiana. And Virginia is at South Carolina. In the Midwest, Ohio University at Central Michigan. 5th-ranked Nebraska at Colorado. Arkansas State at Eastern Michigan. Ball State at Illinois State. Northwestern is at Indiana. And Northern Illinois is at Indiana State. We'll check the rest of the Midwest and the Southwest and Far West a little later.
Well, this Catfish Hunter has certainly done the job so far. He has pitched to 9 the Kansas City Royals, and he's set down 9 in a row. He's had 2 strikeouts. He struck off McRae, the 3rd batter, in the 1st inning, and he got Martinez on strikes for the 3rd out of the 3rd. Now Now he'll be facing a newcomer to the batter's box, Jim Wolford, who came in to replace Otis in the batting order after Otis sprained his left ankle running to first base in the first inning. Wolford, a right-hand batter. He batted .249 for the season, stands very deep in the batter's box, feet close together, and Catfish delivers a splatter on the outside corner. Hunter has mixed his pitches very effectively, and his control has been perfect. He deals, here's a cut on a foul off the mid of Munson. Joe Brinkman looking over that ball, but I think he'll keep it in play. Rivers, the center fielder for the Yankees, plays very shallow on most of the hitters. He's over in right center now on the right-hand batting Wolford. He's got a strike 2 count against him. Here's the pitch. It's a very wide slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hunter hoping that the batter might go for the bad pitch, but he'd have no part of it. Now the motion by Catfish. He delivers very wide again. 2-2 the count on Wolford. Catfish so far has not thrown a whole lot of pitches. Now delivers, and it's a strike call. He stood there and watched up and go by. Struck him out. That'll be the 3rd strikeout for Hunter. The first one that's going to call 3rd strike. Here's George Brett, who bounced to his counterpart at 3rd. Nettles his only time at bat. The American League batting champion. Left-handed batter who will go to all the fields. Nice easy swing up there for George. And he takes a wide one. 2-0, the Yankees lead. Kansas City at bat in the 4th inning. And Brett swings as a drive to center coming hard. Rivers can't get it. Plays it on 1 out. And there is the first hit for Kansas City. And it was a clean one. Sort of a typical Brett hit. A line drive over second base. It's a bit of vendetta in the Brett thing, too. It's curious he's been so involved. He gets the first hit. He made the 2 errors, but he wants to beat the Yankees badly because of their treatment, he said, of his brother Ken Brett, whom he said they didn't give a real chance to before they traded him. Here's Hal McRae, the designated batter, and he takes a strike. Ned and I were talking to Hal about what he would do between turns at bat as the DH, and he said, well, I'll keep busy. A lot of room around the clubhouse. I can run. I can swing the bat. I'll stay loose. And he says, I'm used to it. I've had a season of it. Strike 1, the count on Hal. Runner goes. The pitch is swung on and missed. Throw by Munson into second. He is out at second base. Stanley, the shortstop, covered, puts the tag on the in-sliding Brett after McRae tried to help out with a swing on an outside pitch. Brett tried to go around and come back with a hand grab of the bag, but the throw was right on the button by Munson, who has a very quick release. So there are 2 down and 2 strikes on McRae. Hunter ready to go, but McRae steps out of the batter's box. Catfish winds and pitches. It's a slider low and away, 1-2. Formerly with the Cincinnati Reds, a young man who one time took ballet lessons, Hal McRae. He swings. There's a fly ball hit down in the corner and left. It's fairly deep. White coming over, fighting the wind and the sun, and he can't hold it as the ball finally goes foul. That was a tough one. Number 1, he was looking up in the high sky. Number 2, the wind was coming in from left field toward right. And 3rd, he was very near the barrier as he came across that foul line. He got his glove on the ball, but couldn't hang on. So the official score says no play, which is the same as saying no error. And McRae comes back to the plate. 2-0, the Yankees lead. The Royals are batting with 2 down and nobody on. Here in Kansas City, the last half of the fourth. The pitch is fouled away. He reached out on a breaking ball. Bill Pepe of the Daily News in New York, Sid Boardman of the Kansas City Star are the official scorers. Both veterans of the baseball journalism. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing, and there's a foul lifted out of play on the first base side. 2-0, the Yankees, and they got those 2 in the opening inning. Catfish Hunter on the mound for the Yanks is allowed 1 hit. Gura pitching for the Royals. He's given up 6. Hunter delivers. Swing and a miss on a fastball. He struck him out. That's the 4th strikeout for Catfish. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. And at the end of the 4th inning, the score, New York 2, the Royals 0.
Continuing with what's going on in the Midwest, 11th ranked Ohio State is at Iowa. Utah is at Iowa State. Missouri plays at Kansas State. Missouri ranked 9th in the latest poll. Western Michigan is at Kent State. Michigan State is at top-ranked Michigan. Illinois takes on Minnesota. 8th ranked Kansas is at Oklahoma State. Fresno State is at Wichita State. And Purdue is at Wisconsin. One night game in the Midwest. Bowling Green is at Toledo. In the Southwest and Far West, 3rd ranked Oklahoma is at 14th ranked Texas. 18th ranked Texas Tech is at Texas A&M. Wyoming is at BYU. Oregon at California. Washington at Oregon State. San Francisco State at Fullerton State. Colorado State at Utah State. At night, West Texas is at 19th ranked Houston. Stanford is at 6th ranked UCLA. And 10th ranked Southern California is at Washington State. So let's look at how some of the ranked teams are doing Saturday.
Yankees coming to bat in the 5th inning now. It'll be Roy White to lead off. And the score, the Yankees 2, the Royals 0. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Here's Roy White leading it off. He walked in the 1st inning when the Yankees got the 2 runs by which they lead. And he bounced to third baseman Brett, his next trip in the 3rd. We're in the 5th inning, and the Yanks ahead 2-0. Switch batting White. Swings and misses on a changeup from the left-hander Gura. Swung off his batting helmet. He swung so hard on that one. Herman Munson waiting at the on-deck circle, and then it'll be Lou Piniella to bat after him. Gura winds, kicks, delivers. Here's a foul out of play. Off the bat of Roy White. Boy, a very determined young man. He suffered with polio when he was 6 or 7 years old. He came back from that disease to make it to the major league. Gura ahead of him with 2 strikes on Roy. Here's the pitch. He takes the wide one. Martinez doing the catching this afternoon for the Royals. Brett is backed up a little bit at third base with 2 strikes on the batter. Left-hander Larry Gura into motion, delivers. Here's a swing and a fly ball lifted to right, going back for catch. He's still going back, and reaches up and makes the catch. That ball got up in the breeze and took off, and Poquette followed, almost misjudged it, but finally hung on to it. One out in the 5th inning. The Yankees ahead of the Royals 2-0. Here comes Munson. Thurman with a single in that 2-run 1st inning. Outfield around the left on him. Gura delivers. It's a strike call. We said earlier, a lot of people are touting Munson for the most valuable player award. Catcher has been most valuable in the American League 5 times. Mickey Cochran of the Detroit Tigers, Yogi Berra 3 times, and Elston Howard once. So the Yankee catchers have dominated the most valuable player award as far as catches are concerned. Munson made captain of the Yankees this year, the first they've had since Lou Gehrig back in '39. Now we're about ready to go again. Gura into action, delivers, and Munson swings at the little pop-up to first. Mayberry has it, and there are 2 away in the Yankee 5th inning. Lou Piniella. Lou not really getting booed, they're just saying Lou. He's funny, you know. He says, where I go, the fans get on me, whether it's New York or here where he used to play. He said, I don't mind him just razzing me. It's the personal stuff that I don't like. He's 1 for 2 this afternoon, struck out and he singled. There's an outside let-up pitch. Ball 1 on Piniella. Yankees lead 2-0 in the 5th inning. Larry Gura, the Kansas City left-hander, delivers. There's a fly ball that will reach the seats. It's foul back in right field. Swinging late on the Gura fastball. Well, Gura changing up on his pitches so much. You see, a lot of the Yankees are hitting the ball late. Getting ready for the slow curve or the change-up, and then he'll slip the fastball in on him. Lou not quite ready. He steps out for a moment. Each of these pitchers has had excellent control. Only 1 walk in the game. Gura walked Roy White in the first inning. Waiting on a 1-1 delivery now is Piniella, spreading out at the plate. Here's the pitch. He takes a fastball in close. 2-1 the count on Lou. Brett is very deep at third now. In fact, all the infielders are back on the Yankee designated hitter. Here's the windup and the pitch. He swings at a bounding ball to left. It will be a hit between Brett and Patek. Fielded by left fielder Wolford. Rifled back into Patek. Well, the Yankees get their 7th hit. The first baseman, Chris. 6 singles and a double. And here is Chambliss to come to bat. He's hit into 4th out and had a single. That's the 4th straight hit the Yankees have had with 2 men out. Their first 2 came with nobody out and set up the scoring chance. And they capitalized on that to 2 runs, and they lead 2-0. Chambliss has 1 for 2 off the left-hander. And batting Chris swings and misses. And looks like a breaking pitch, high and away. A time called at first base by umpire Larry Barnett for a moment. Now we're ready to resume action. Strike 1 pitch. Chambliss takes the fastball high. Well, Gura has done a good job on the mound. No question about that. He suffered by a lack of support in the opening inning when the Yankees got their 2 runs. Now ready to deal 1-1 on Chambliss. Here it comes. There's a foul out of play. Swinging late on the fastball. A lot of moaning and groaning when Chambliss came to New York in a deal with the Indians, but he won himself a spot and won the respect of his teammates and the Yankee fans of the way he's delivered. Piniella with the lead at first base. 1-2 pitch. He goes. Here's a swing and a miss. The inning's over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. And at the end of 4.5 innings, the score, the Yankees 2 and the Royals nothing.
The Royals officials called it a combination. You want to stop right now.
The American League Championship Series is one of the most scouted for series, I'd say, in history. Each team, the Yankees and the Royals, have had their scouts out, checking just about everything about the opposition. The Yankees scouts, headed by Bob Cox, the Syracuse manager, Gene Michael, who is here in the role of the coach, Jerry Walker, another scout, and Bertie Kevitz, still another scout, although Bertie did most of his scouting in the early part of the year. And the Kansas City Royals in the scouting department against the opposition were represented by Gary Blaylock, Al Diaz, and the old-time big right-hand pitcher from Philadelphia, Mr. Tom Parrish. And you can be sure that there are practically no secrets held from the opposition. Well, don't forget, fans, starting next Saturday, October 16, you'll hear the World Series action exclusive radio play-by-play right here on the CBS Radio Network station. Well, we've had half a ball game here, and it's been Catfish Hunter the Yankees so far with a 2-0 lead. Kansas City comes to bat in the last half of the fifth inning. And one of my favorites in the broadcasting profession, the voice of the Boston Red Sox, Ned Martin, will take us along the rest of the way. All right, Ernie Harwell, thank you. Good afternoon again, everybody. It has been Catfish Hunter forever so far out there. He's He only hit a single by Brett in the fourth, and they got him trying to steal. Mayberry takes a fastball outside, ball one. In the 4 innings pitched, Hunter has faced a minimum of 12 batters. Mayberry flied to left his first time up, and he sends a high drive to right field, but not deep enough. Under it is Maddox. He's got it for the out, and there's one away. Mayberry flies to Elliott Maddox, who hardly had to move. Or to Poquette, of course, is
Ken Carnes, report to security, please.
The guy who's going to be that took Otis's place in center field. Al Cowan, center fielder coming up. He popped up his first time up. Maddox in right, Rivers in center. White in left for the Yankees. Yankees leading 2-0. Collins, the right-handed batter, does not have the long ball power as some of the other players on. There's not too many, of course, on the Royals ball club that'll hit the home run, except Mayberry and occasionally Otis. The pitch is outside to Collins, ball one. Collins, one of the fine defensive right fielders in the American League. It has an arm, very strong arm. He foul tipped one. The count is 1 ball, 1 strike. He is rated right up there with Dwight Evans of the Boston Red Sox as a defensive right field in the American League. Today, of course, after the injury to Amos Otis in the first inning, the sprained ankle that Otis received, Collins is playing more or less unfamiliar center field. He can run. 1-1 pitch to him, slices a foul out of play off to the right toward the upper deck. A ball and 2 strikes. Collins stole 23 bases this year. Hunter kicks and throws. Line drive toward right. Maddox goes toward the line. He's got it. Wynn played a few tricks with a line drive, but Elliott Maddox stayed right with it and has 2 putouts this inning. So there's 2 up and 2 down in the fifth as Hunter continues to work like a machine out there. He has not walked a man. Tom Poquette came in to play right field after the outfield switch in the first inning. He grounded out to the second baseman Randolph by way of Hunter, who deflected the ball out toward second. Left-handed batter in a severe crouch sends a high drive toward left field shallow. White slips down the glasses, looks into a tough sun, and has it for the third out. 1, 2, 3 go the Royals again. And after 5 innings of play, the score is the Yankees 2 and the Royals 0.
We still don't have anything new on the weather in Philadelphia as far as the rain conditions for the game Saturday night between Philadelphia and the Cincinnati Reds. That latest word, National League President Chuck Feeney says that as a result of the weather report, they do not plan to call the game until Saturday night. He said that's planning right now unless the weather report gets turned around. It was raining throughout most of the morning in the Washington area, but it is beginning to clear up just a bit now. So as a result, that may be up in the Philadelphia area, clearing around 6 o'clock or so. A storm that dumped nearly 6 inches of rain on Charlotte, North Carolina in 24 hours has forced postponement of Saturday's World Service Life 300-mile sportsman auto race. That race has been rescheduled for Sunday, October 17th. Officials at the Charlotte Motor Speedway say the annual National 500 Grand National Stock Car Race will go as scheduled on Sunday. The Boston Bruins went into federal court to stop the Chicago Blackhawks from using defenseman Bobby Orr until the Bruins receive compensation from the National Hockey League superstar. The Bruins have also asked League President Clarence Campbell to ban Orr from playing until an agreement is reached. The New York Rangers traded backup goalie Dunk Wilson to the Pittsburgh Penguins for cash and future consideration. Wilson appeared in 20 games last season and had a 4.22 goals against average. One game in the National Hockey League Friday night, the Rangers knocking off Colorado 5-3.
In the top of the 6th inning, the Yankee third baseman Greg Nettles will lead off. He's 0 for 2. The Yankees leading in the game 2-0. They got their runs, one of them unearned in the first inning. Nettles has ended 2 innings, ended the first and the third. Gura's pitch is popped up, foul, out of play, coming back, and no chance for Martinez. Matter of fact, in the 5 Yankee innings at bat, Nettles has ended 2 of them. Mickey Rivers has ended 2, and Chambliss 1, all left-handed hitters against the southpaw Larry Gura. Gura has scattered 7 hits. There has not been a 1-2-3 inning for him. But the Yankees hold on to just those 2 runs. The pitch to Nettles is slammed toward left field, but right there is Wolford. He's got it for the out. Nettles flies to left. There's 1 out in the 6th inning. Elliot Maddox, 0 for 2, is up. He grounded to short and flies to right. Beautiful ballpark, as we've mentioned before, as anyone who has seen it or heard about it. In this Harry S. Truman complex, there's a bit of the crowd in it, emphasizing city baseball, but there's country in the background. Pitch to Maddox, slammed up the middle into center field, a base hit. Maddox is on with a ground ball single into center. It's number 8 for New York and number 1 for Maddox. Well, the Yankees have a runner on with 1 out this time, and Willie Randolph is up. Randolph has grounded to third and flied fairly deep to left field. The wind still blowing left to right, a crosswind, which holds the ball up hit toward left. It took 1. Sailed the ball toward right field. Off the bat of White in the 5th inning, Roy White. Coquette just managed to get it going back. Throw to first, not in time. Randolph, who can handle the bat very well, can hit to the opposite field, can bunt for a surprise measure, can bunt for a base hit. He's got some speed. Time called as a wisp of paper cruises in between the mound and home plate and out toward the third base dugout. Beyond the bank out in the outfield is another huge bank up toward Route 70. Here's the pitch. Fastball hits the third. Brett has it. Over the second one. The first. Double play. Around the horn. 5-4-3. Hitting over. It goes from Brett to White to Mayberry. That takes care of that. No runs. A hit. Nobody left. And in the middle of the 6th inning, the score is still Yankees 2 and the Royals nothing.
Okay, let's take a look at some college football scores. North Carolina State leading Maryland at the end of the first period, 6-0. It's Wake Forest 3, Clemson nothing. Yale 6, Dartmouth nothing. Bucknell and Lehigh are scoreless. Virginia Tech 3, VMI nothing. And those are first period scores in college football. Elsewhere in college football, not really too much else to report, as a lot of those Eastern games are in progress. Massachusetts 6-0 over Boston University, also at the end of the first period. We gave you that score a little bit earlier. David Graham has rallied from 2 strokes behind to beat Hale Irwin on the 38th hole for the Piccadilly World Match Play Golf Championship in Virginia Wade, England. That should be Virginia Water, England. Graham evening the match with an eagle on the 33rd hole and a birdie on the 36th, and he had to go 2 extra holes before winning the $42,500 first prize. Gary Player beat Ray Floyd for 3rd.
You're tuned to your CBS radio network station for Game 1 in the American League playoffs. That means you're tuned to the only radio spot for the World Series. Starting Saturday, October 16th, CBS Radio Sports brings you exclusive radio play-by-play coverage. Follow the series on radio right here. The crowd has come in. It's the largest ever to see a regular Major League Baseball game in Kansas City's history, 41,077. The next one was 40,435 on August 9th this past year. Yankees leading 2-0 behind Catfish Hunter, and we're ready to go. In the bottom of the 6th, the pitch is outside and low to Frank White for ball 1. Frank White, the Royal second baseman, grounded to 3rd in the 3rd inning. Hunter working on a 1-hitter. Pitch is inside, ball 2. The Kansas City fans waiting for anything. They would cheer a deep fly ball right now. Hunter delivers, and White takes a strike at the knee. There's waterfalls. There's a big bank of waterfalls out in center and curving around from right center to center. Bouncing ground ball to shortstop, taken there by Stanley. Fires in time. Nice stop by Sambler. Chris had to lean over toward the home plate side of first base to dig that one out. But dig it he did, and White is out. Short to first, 1 away. Fred Patek is up. Slide deep to left, his only time at bat. Shortest man in the major leagues, 5'4". Butt mighty, as he says. Good strong arm from shortstop. The pitch to Fred is outside a ball. 1 hit off Catfish Hunter, a single by Brett. Clean single in the 4th inning. And he was erased trying to steal. There has not been any other base runner. Swing, strike. Patek is not a good breaking ball hitter, but he's improved since he first came up. He used to be an out on the breaking stuff. Good fastball hitter. 1-1 delivery to him, and he swings at a high fastball that time and doesn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yankees 2 and the Royals nothing. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Sun-splashed day in Kansas City. It's up and away for a ball. 2-2. Hunter reads the sign from Munson. It is. Foul ball on the slider away. Freddie just getting a piece of it. The infield has Chambliss at first, medium deep. Willie Randolph is shading the bag at second and playing at deep second base. Shortstop is Fred Stanley and the third baseman Greg Nettles. Roy White, Mickey Rivers, and Elliot Maddox left to right in the outfield. They're pushed a bit toward right center on Patek, grounds to 3rd, and Nettles has the easy hop. Throws over to 1st, 2 down. Patek grounding to 3rd. And Hunter is just making it look awfully simple right now. Buck Martinez struck out in the 3rd. The Yankee runs were in the 1st inning, and 2 throwing errors by George Brett had a hand in it. The one of them, of course, for the one of the unearned runs. The other one was considered earned, an RBI single for a ground ball. There's a foul back. Actually, the game should be 0-0 right now. You don't presuppose a double play, but that would have been one had not Brett thrown it away. 1 strike. Here it is. Got the corner for a called strike, and it's 0-2. The 2-strike pitch. A high fastball shown, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Martinez has a little power from the right side. He's not a consistent hitter. He's just 228 on the regular season. But he has done the bulk of the Royals' catching. 1-2 delivery. Lifts a high foul out of play. Hangs in there with a 1-2 count. Between innings, when the play is not on, the waterfalls in center field turn into fountains, and they spray up very picturesquely in the sunlight today. And we saw it last night from the Stadium Club, and the lights behind it. Very picturesque scene. One and 2 to Martinez. Strike 3 called. Good breaking pitch by Hunter. He's out of there. Martinez becomes the 5th strikeout victim for Catfish Hunter. Nothing across, and at the end of 6, the score, the Yankees 2, the Royals nothing. Now for a brief news update.
Okay, let's take a look instead of some news. Let's look at some football news and some scores. We have some more first period scores for you. Pittsburgh is leading Louisville 10-0 at the end of the first period. Pittsburgh, currently the nation's second-ranked team. Penn State 10, Army nothing. That's the first period score. West Virginia really put it to Tampa 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. And Michigan and Michigan State in their traditional game. And the Wolverines are leading it, but not by much. 14-10, Michigan over Michigan State. So that's a look at what we have in college football as far as some late scores. In case you missed the latest UPI coaches' ratings, Michigan #1 with 40 first-place votes and a comfortable lead over second-ranked Pittsburgh, which has 2 first-place votes. Oklahoma is 3rd, Georgia is 4th, 5th is Nebraska, 6th is UCLA, 7th is Maryland, 8th is Kansas, 9th is Missouri, and 10th is Southern Cal. Ohio State is 11th, Notre Dame 12th, Florida 13th, 14th is Texas, and 15th is Arkansas.
Moving this game rapidly into the top half of the 7th inning.
Leading off for the Yankees, the shortstop.
The Yankees leading 2-0 over the Kansas City Royals. Royals had predicted this would be a series of close, low-scoring ball games. So far, they've been right. The Yankees have taken advantage of the errors in the first inning. Nobody on the Royals side has been able to hit Catfish Hunter at all except Brett with the single. And that's the simple part of this ball game. It's as simple as that. Silent movie so far for the Royals. Fred Stanley up against Larry Gura. Here's a high pop. Right side, back goes Frank White, the second baseman, and he's got it. Almost misjudged it with Poquette behind him. Wind doing a lot of things with the baseball on things get high in the air. Stanley pops to the second baseman, Frank White, in shallow right, really. Mickey Rivers up, had a single and scored a run in the first inning. He grounded to Brett near the third base line. Brett hesitated making the throw, then the throw was bad. He went as a single and an error. Rivers went to second and eventually scored. Curveball popped up. Foul ground, and Mayberry's there near the coaching box. First, he's got it. 2 away. Larry Gura has pitched a fine ball game. Make no mistake about that. He has given up 8 hits through, and Catfish has given up 1. That's what he's up against. Plus the lapse behind him in the first inning, and of course no attack. 4th. 2 out in a hurry in the 7th, and Roy White is up. Curveball on the corner, called strike. White usually hits more consistently from the left side. The high ball hitter from the left side more often than the right. Usually you figure left-handed hitters are low ball hitters, but from the left side he goes for the high pitch more so. Now there's something in his eye. Yankee trainer comes out to check White, and Martinez goes out to check with Gura. Roy is cleared up now. Throughout the years, many people, and I guess he's kind of tired of it too, saying Roy White is the most underrated player in the league. Well, I think he is, but he knows what he can do. There's a bouncer to second base. Frank White picks it up on one hop, throws Roy out, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Larry Gura as he continues to shine. Nothing across, and in the middle of the seventh, the score is the Yankees 2, the Royals nothing.
A spokesman for the Philadelphia Phils says Saturday night's opening National League playoff game against Cincinnati is expected to be played despite forecast of rain. Executive Vice President Bill Giles says he's been in constant touch with various weathermen, and they indicate that the rain will stop by about 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and the game is scheduled for 8:15 p.m. The Phils have not had a game rained out all season. If Saturday's game is postponed, the series will be pushed back to Sunday and Monday. The Kansas City Royals host the Yankees in the game you're listening to right now in the American League playoffs. Third-ranked Oklahoma is favored to whip Texas in their annual shootout in the Cotton Bowl, but the emotions involved usually make the game unpredictable. The coaches got into the act on the eve of the annual affair, with Texas coach Darrell Royal charging that a former assistant coach at Oklahoma spied on Longhorn practices. Sooner coach Barry Switzer says that's ridiculous.
Home half of the seventh at Royal Stadium. Everybody's up and hoping for something from their ball club. Catfish Hunter warming up, rather not caring much, just doing his job and rather oblivious to the cheers and the exhorting of the Kansas City fans. Hunter has pitched a marvelous ball game. Through 6 innings he has worked. He has faced the minimum of 18 hitters. 1 hit garnered off him. George Brett got it in the fourth and was out stealing. That has been the Kansas City offense. Jim Wolford is the first batter here in the seventh. Leadoff hitter, taking the place of Amos Otis, who sprained an ankle in the first inning, was trying to run out a bunt. A bunt attempt by Wolford is fouled at the plate, strike one. Wolford playing in left field. They shifted things around when Otis left the game, moving Collins to center and sending Coquette from left to right. Wolford, when he has been playing with the Royals this summer, has been primarily a left fielder. Pretty good outfielder. An infielder type arm, though, if you can run on him if he has to play something deep. Right-handed batter right now, hitting .249 on the year. Takes a breaking ball, a curve outside from Hunter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yankees leading 2-0. 7th inning. Fly ball, right field. Easy chance for Maddox. Holds the hand up, says, I've got it, and takes it for out number 1. Wolford flies to right. Hunter now has retired 8 in a row since the single by Brett. Yesterday, well, its date is October 9th, but 20 years ago yesterday, and I bet there's a lot of people who say they were there that maybe weren't. Don Larson pitched a perfect game in the World Series. He beat Sal Magley and the Brooklyn Dodgers 2-0. And, of course, one of the main moments of World Series history. And Shirley Povich, the Washington Post, wrote in his lead, hell froze over. There were 30 Sundays in a month, and Don Larson pitched the perfect game in the World Series. A great lead. There's a base hit to left field. George Brett gets his second hit off Hunter. And now the man is on with 1 out in the 7th inning. All right, the Royal fans coming alive downstairs and all around us as Brett lines the second Royal hit off Hunter into left. Brett got the other one, singling to center. So George has been the most involved Royal player this afternoon, except for pitcher Larry Gura, who's pitched well. Now with this situation in a 2-0 ball game, of course, something like that happens, and the tying run comes to the plate. Hunter has taken care of Hal McRae easily, striking him out both times, once in the first and once in the fourth. McRae bends way over at the plate. Fouls the pitch off for a strike. McRae finished the season at .332, 1 point behind teammate George Brett, who's now at first base. And McRae says he'd rather hear the last of that last day of the season. It's all over now. Here's the pitch. little pop-up right side. Under it is Randolph, and Willie Randolph backpedals and makes the catch for the out. They're 2 away. So Hunter continues to own McRae pretty well, and now here is Mayberry. Big John Mayberry is the home run threat in the Royals order right now. Slide to left and slide to right.
That is a key man, to my way of thinking, in this series. He has got to deliver, and this is a good spot for him to deliver if he's going to get started on it, because a lot depends on this guy's big bat in this series.
Yes, sir. Here's Hunter pitching to him. High and away for a ball. If you get the ball out over the plate to Mayberry, he'll kill you. He will chase the bad ball down and in. He likes that pitch. You throw him a strike there, he'll pull it to right and hurt you. But you make it a bad pitch, he might chase it and get him that way. Easy. He swings at the outside high pitch for a ball. Strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Larry Mayberry is a guy who came over from Houston a long time ago. High and tight, a ball which out is 2-1.
Report to security.
Hunter has given up his share of home runs. He always does. He's a control pitcher. But not this time. A high pop-up, third base way. Under it, Craig Nettles. He's got it. And Catfish gets out of the inning. No problem. No runs. 1 hit. And 1 left. And at the end of 7 innings of play, the score is the Yankees 2 and the Royals nothing. Now the Yanks representing the East in the lead here 2-0. Since the American League began its championship series in 1969, the East has won 4 of 7 times. Baltimore knocked off Minnesota twice, and then Oakland in the first 3 encounters. Oakland won 3 in a row. Boston broke the tie last October by downing the A's. Only 3 times, though, has the playoff series gone more than 3 games. Oakland clipped Detroit, you remember, in 5 games in 1972. And then they repeated in 5 games against Baltimore in 1973. And then Baltimore stretched the series to 4 games against the A's in 1974. And the first game considered most important by the 2 managers. And right now the Yankees lead that first game at the end of 7, 2-0. Remember, CBS Radio Sports is bringing you the play-by-play action in the American League Championship. And there's more to come. The World Series starts October 16th. That's next Saturday, week from today. And you'll hear exclusive radio coverage, play-by-play, of the 1976 World Series right here on this CBS Radio Network station. This is Ed Martin along with Ernie Harwell at Royal Stadium in Kansas City. The Yankees leading the Royals 2-0 on 2 runs in the first inning. There are 2 innings to go. Larry Gura will face Munson, Piniella, and Chambliss.
Also in New York.
And the Royals have bullpen action now, left and right. Steve Mingori, the left-hander, and Mark Littell, the right-hander, throwing there in the bullpen just in case. There was activity in the first inning. Doug Bird was throwing when Gura got in early trouble. The Yankees have left-hander Sparky Lyle throwing in their pen now. Thurman Munson is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the first inning. Gura fires, curveball, line toward short, taken in the air by Patek. Right off his shoe top, Munson is out. 1 away, right at the feet of Freddie, but he got it before it hit the ground.
The designated hitter,
Lou Piniella's had a good day. Struck out in the first, but has followed with 2 singles. He is the designated hitter. He was talking yesterday. He said, you know, my mother's going to be disappointed that I'm not playing right field tomorrow instead of DHing. And Munson was sitting on the bench, and he said, well, how do you think the Royals feel? They're kind of sorry you're not out there, too. Lou is not going to emulate Al Kaline in right field, and he admits it, but he said, you know, I didn't have a bad year defensively. He played 1 good game against the Red Sox, I know. Took a hit away or a home run away. Pitch is outside for a ball, and the count is 1-0 to Piniella, a right-handed batter. Larry Gura. And the pitch Slammed toward right field, but high enough for Poquette to get under. He's got it. And there are two away. So Pinella's out, and Gura continues to pitch well. Baseball people, in their infinite wisdom, a lot of times will say to a guy who pitches this way and maybe loses 1-0 or 2-0, he pitched just well enough to lose. Just makes the pitcher mad. Here is Chambliss. He is 1 for 3. Had an RBI on the fielder's choice, the big play of the game in the first inning. Then another run scored on the error. The ensuing error by Brett. Pitch is up and in for ball 1. Chambliss had a single in the third, and then he struck out his last time up. Gura works. Drive to right center field toward the gap. That may go through to the wall. It does. It's be played off the wall by Poquette. Chambliss has 2. He's going to try for 3. Here comes a throw from Frank White. He's not in time. It gets behind Brett. Backed up by Gura. And in at third with a triple is Chris Chambliss. Ned Poquette a little slow getting that ball after it got up the gap. And he seemed to be a little nonchalant about it. And it cost him that extra base that Chambliss was able to take. Chambliss had the play in front of him, too. He could see that this was being done a little slowly, so he dug for it. It was a good relay throw from Frank White. But with the tangle there at third base, it eluded Brett. However, Gura backed it up and prevented the run. So there's another 2-out hit for the Yankees. They now have 9 hits, and that is their second extra base hit. A double by Stanley, a triple by Chambliss. The batter now is Nettles. Fly ball down the left field line. Let's see if it goes fair. Foul. It is foul ball out of play. No chance for Wolford, who had a long run as they were playing Nettles to goal. Greg Nettles is one of the best mistake hitters in the American League, certainly on the Yankees club. He will hit that hanging curveball or that mistake pitch a long way. He's a pull hitter. He has an uppercut swing. And you try to jam him. Try to get that ball with hard stuff up and in on around the chin, or the letters. He's batting with 2 outs and the man at third. Tries to check his swing, but cannot. It's a strike. 0-2 to Nettles. Chambliss at third with what could be an insurance run, an added insurance run for the Yankees. You just joined us. The Yankees lead the Royals 2-0 in Game 1. They got their 2 runs in the first inning. Here it is. There's a high and tight pitch to Nettles. Inside for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So the base is loaded in 1 out. They got their run in the first inning. Ground ball to third. Then an error. Fastball, strike 3 called. He jammed him all right. Fastball right in tight. And Nettles ends an inning for the third time. A strikeout, number 4 for Larry Gura. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. And in the middle of the 8th inning, the score is the Yankees 2 and the Royals nothing. And has been provided by. You have to hand it to Larry Gura. He has kept his team, the Kansas City Royals, in this game with some excellent thrust pitching. After the Yanks got 2 in the opening inning, due to a couple of errors by Brett, Gura has settled down and done the job. Although the Yankees have a hit total of 9, all but 3 of those hits have come with 2 men out. And the Yanks got their first 2 runs in the opening inning when Mickey Rivers led up with a bunt single with the second on the throwing error by Brett. White walk, Munson single below the bases. And then with 1 out, after another fan for 1 out, Chambliss hit a ground ball to Brett. He touched third for the 4th out, but then threw wild to first base and the 2 Yankee runs scored. So that's what's happened here in Kansas City so far. You're tuned to your CBS radio network station for game number 1 in the American League playoffs. So that means you're tuned to the only radio spot for the World Series. Starting Saturday, October 16th, CBS Radio Sports brings you exclusive radio play-by-play coverage. Follow the series on radio right here. Here we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and time running out and short on the Kansas City Royals, who trail 2-0. Catfish Hunter has been magnificent. He's pitched 2-hit shutout ball and pitched to only one batter over the minimum. Sparky Lyle and Dick Kidrow, the left-right-handed punch in the bullpen for the Yankees, are warming up. First batter up for the Royals is Cowens. He takes ball one inside. Cowens has popped to second and lined to right. Hunter has not walked the batter. He's given up 2 hits, both to George Brett. Strike called at the knees on the outside corner. Hunter is just something out there. He is not wasting any time between pitches. Around the corners with that slider. Got everything right where he wants it. It is. Foul ball back. 1-2. Up on the bank, we were telling you about in left field, a couple of troopers, it seems, with horses were standing a little while ago. It's quite a nice country setting around here. There's a farm, a barn with some cows past the freeway. There's a base hit to right field. That will go for 2. Bouncing around out there, played by Maddox, and into second base and trying for third now is the runner Cowens. He's got a triple. Cowens, who, as we told you earlier, can run, went right on around second base. As that ball was hit into the corner, it looked like a normal double in this ballpark, where you give the guy the corner and play it safe. Elliot Maddox waited for it. By the time he'd gotten it, Cowens had steamed into third base ahead of the relay, and it's a leadoff triple for Al Cowens of the Royals, who have their first really big shot at Hunter here in the 8th inning. Nobody out. Tom Poquette is up. And the slider is inside to him, ball 1. This is when you see Hunter, a lot of times, pull his back and becomes a pitcher that has netted him all the praise, all the money, everything that he deserves. There's down. It's inside. And the count is 2-0. Poquette is grounded out and slide out. Lyle and Kidrow, who had just taken a seat, now get up again in the bullpen in left. The pitch to Poquette. Ground ball, right side. This will score a run. Taken there by Randolph. Throws the first for the out, but the Royals score. 2-1. Run batted in for Tom Poquette. And now it's a 1-run ball game. Yankees 2 and the Royals 1. Poquette gets the RBI with nobody on base and 1 out now. Frank White is scheduled up, but they're looking around. And there's going to be a pinch hitter. I believe Whitey Herzog is going to go with Cookie Rojas. Cookie Rojas is in the on-deck circle. The very popular second baseman here for the Kansas City Royals. A veteran of many seasons here and in the National League. And listen to the cheer for him.
To the Kansas City second baseman right. Number 1, Cookie.
Billy Martin has come out to talk to Hunter, Bunsen, and the shortstop Fred Stanley. Cookie Rojas, the right-handed batter on the season, hit .242 in part-time play at second base. No homers, 16 runs batted in, but a decided veteran. Ernie, a fellow who, in this kind of thing, I would go to too, I believe. Yes, sir, you're right about that. And, I was thinking about the triple that Cowens hit. It was a tough play for Elliot Maddox playing the corner over there. You have to sort of back off and let the ball ricochet to you, but if you go up too close and it gets by you, it's a home run. But it was a tough play either way, and the three-bagger was a big hit. All right, here's Rojas, and Cookie takes a pitch outside for a ball. The nearest thing that Rojas has been to this was when he was with Philadelphia, when some of their good ball clubs. Checks his swing and takes the strike. He was with the 1964 Phillies, who fell down in the final 2 weeks of the season and lost the pennant to the St. Louis Cardinals. Rojas was in that pennant fight. Takes a good breaking pitch for a strike and argues a little bit with umpire Larry Barnett. Rojas last year hit .254. He hit .271 the year before that. Lifetime average of around .260. In the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yankees 2, Royals 1. Bottom of the 8th inning at Royal Stadium. Beautifully pitched game by Catfish Hunter and Larry Gura. Rojas batting for White. Fouls it back to the screen. Cookie has been the kind of the titular leader of this club since he came over here. He and Freddie Patek for years, for several years in this ballpark, led the league in double plays around second. Highly professional fellow, this Rojas. 2-2. Hunter works. Foul ball back. Spoils a breaking ball again. Lyle and Tidrow throwing in the bullpen. They had Littell and Mengori up for Kansas City, but they've taken a seat. Here's a 2-2 offering again. A little pop-up in the infield. Third baseman Nettles comes into foul ground. He says, I've got it. And Munson lets him have it for the second out. So Rojas batting for White. Fouls out to third. 2 down.
The shortstop,
Freddie Patek up. Slide deep to left and grounded to third. Red Sox are never could get too much about getting him out in the course of several seasons, except for throwing the breaking pitches we've mentioned before. But he'll hit the fastball on him. He's got a little power, but has learned to go to the opposite field well. Drive towards short, past shortstop into left field. Fred Stanley went over and it looked as though he might get that, but it's just one of those starts and curve skims past him. And Patek was on with a 2-out single. He represents the tying run. Buck Martinez scheduled up, and he's not going to bat. Jamie Quirk. Yep. Well, Jamie Quirk, who we saw a lot of this summer in several roles for the Royals against the Red Sox, the designated hitter. A left-handed batter. Jamie Quirk, who hit 246 with 1 homer and 15 runs batted in. Very, that's quite a name, Jamie Quirk. It sure is, and I think this fellow's a lot better hitter than that average he gave Ned. He meets the ball. He's one of the disciples of Charlie Lau. He goes to the opposite field a lot, and basically he's a line drive hitter. And as far as Herzog's concerned, it would be a good choice for him right here in this spot. He's from Whittier, California. Attended Whittier College. Runner going. Pitch out. Throw to second by Munson. He is out at second base. Munson threw low, but it was dug out beautifully by the shortstop, Fred Stanley, and Quirk doesn't get a chance. They tried to get the tying run down to second base, but Patek was out trying to steal, and that's 2 that Munson has thrown out. This one 2-6, and that takes care of that. 1 run on 2 hits, and nobody left. And we go to, we're at the end of 8 innings. The score is the Yankees 2 and the Royals 1.
We have some updates on the college football scoreboard. A couple of teams that looked like they were not scoring as much as most people thought they would in the first period have laid it on in the second period. Penn State was leading Army 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. At the half, it's Penn State 31, Army nothing. Pittsburgh was leading Louisville 10-0. Score end of the first half. Elsewhere in the South, we have some additional scores. Bill Battle of Tennessee, who went out to Monday to held a news conference and said, hey, look, lay off the team. Let's try to get things squared away and go for a winning season. Big game against Georgia Tech, and at the end of the first quarter, it's Tennessee 14, Georgia Tech nothing. Wake Forest 3-0 over Clemson at the end of the first period. Virginia Tech leads VMI 3-0. That's the first period score. And North Carolina State leads 7th-ranked Maryland 6-0. That's at the end of the first quarter.
Two changes defensively for Whitey Herzog and the Royals. Cookie Rojas remains in the game to play second base. And the new catcher is John Wathan, W-A-T-H-A-N, who got into 42 games and hit .286 for the Royals. He is back of the plate now, replacing Martinez. Rojas at second, and Wathan catching. Top of the ninth. The Yankees lead 2-1. Here's Elliott Maddox. Gura's curveball is over, called strike one. Maddox singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Now the margin for the Yankees is an unearned run. 2-1 New York. We're at the top of the ninth in Game 1 of the American League playoffs. The championship series. Here it is. Fly ball, left center field, hit fairly well, but back for it is Cowens. Now plays the wind and one-hands it for the out. Maddox flies to center. And the center fielder, Cowens, played that ball like the guy he replaces, Amos Otis, who one-hands everything out there, and Cowens does it too. And one game this year in New York, it cost the Royals a game when Cowens tried to one-hand a ball to the wall, and 2 runs scored, and it was the ball game. Here's Randolph. Ground ball foul past third. 1 strike. Willie Randolph has grounded to third, flied to left, and grounded into a double play. Yankees 2, Royals 1, top of the ninth. Here it is. Hits outside, a changeup by Gura. Gura has scattered the hits, but has not had any of them trouble him, except in the first inning. Good pitch on the outside corner and a beef by Randolph to Barnett. A brief beef. Nobody really has gotten on the umpires much in this one. It's just been good pitching. Fastball a little bit high to Randolph. 2-2. Randolph named to the All-Star team as a rookie this year. The 2-2 pitch. Fly ball, center field. Cowens after this one flips down the glasses. Cruz is back deep, and he's got it right at the edge of the warning path, nearly 400 feet away. Randolph with good wood on it, aided by a little bit of a wind, flies to center. 2 out. Fred Stanley is 2 for 3 in this one. A single, a double, and a pop-up. If you're looking to the Royal ninth inning, they will have Watson, Wolford, and Brett scheduled up. Larry Gura kicks and throws, and it misses a little bit outside for a ball. Here it is. Fastball pulled into right field, coming hard and making a trap play as the right fielder Poquette almost got behind him, and that would have been trouble. It's a single by Stanley, his 3rd hit. Poquette came on, the ball was dropping and sinking. It had a twirl on it, and he just got enough of the glove on it to stop it. He trapped the ball, and it gotten behind him. Cowens was not over far enough to be behind him for the backup, and that would have gone a long way. Impossible? Well, possibly an inside-the-park homer. Here's Mickey Rivers, who's 1 for 4. Singled and scored in the first inning. 10 hits now for New York. Strike swinging and an off-speed pitch. Gura has worked a 10-hitter and given up only 1 earned run, but trails where it counts 2-1. 1 strike to Rivers. Sent way over at the plate. Takes the pitch outside, a ball. Gura looks down for a sign. Stanley off first. It is. Strike swinging, he's out ahead of that one, too. So the count on Rivers is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the set. The delivery. Ground ball to the left side. Shortstop way. Throw to second. Not in time. Everybody's safe. Patek played it the only way he could. Brett went over to the left side. Could not cut it off. It was by him. Patek, knowing Rivers' speed, couldn't go over to first for him. He flipped to second. Could not get Stanley, and it'll go as a base hit. An infield hit for Rivers. He is 2 for 5, and Whitey Herzog wants to talk to his battery. He's got Ngori and Littell out in the bullpen. The batter is Roy White, of course, who's a switcher, and they will go much rather pitch to him right-handed than left. Mickey Rivers on at first base, and Stanley at second on the infield hit to short. The Yankees with a threat here to try to put another run across, or two, to get an insurance pass going into the ninth inning, bottom half. White has walked and has grounded out twice and flied out once, 0 for 3. Rivers at first, Stanley at second. White takes the pitch outside, the ball. White is a smart hitter. He makes good contact, and he'll wait. He'll wait on a pitch well. Infield deep, they need just one out. Fly ball to left field, it's going to be trouble. It's going to be in there for a base hit, bouncing on one hop to Wolford. A run scores. Here comes Rivers to the plate. 2-run score, and the Yankees make it 4-1. A double by Roy White, the clutch hit in this ball game, as he smashes a double down the left side to drive in 2. All this has happened with 2 outs, so that's going to be all for Larry Gura. Whitey Herzog thinking maybe he could get White out as a right-handed batter, not wanting to pitch to him as a left-handed hitter. Goes one batter maybe too long, and Roy White, the undersung, doubles home 2. And that's going to be all for Larry Gura. So Gura leaves the ball game and gets a nice hand. He went 9 2/3 innings, giving up a matter of 12 hits and 4 runs. One of them unearned. He walked 1. He struck out 4. And he's responsible for a base runner. And coming in from the left field, the right field bullpen is right-hander Mark Littell.
Please.
On that, it's too bad that Gura, who pitched such a strong game, had to weaken a little bit here in the ninth inning. You know, it's the philosophy of some managers that they do not like to change catchers in the late stages of the game. A pitcher has his rhythm, he's going along fine, and a new catcher sometimes will not take him along on that rhythm. Not blaming John Walton, but sometimes things like that can happen. And in this inning, Maddox applied to center, Randolph applied to center, and then Stanley, who has been the toughest hitter on the Yankees, single. Rivers followed with a single, and then White gets 2 more Yankee runs in with a fly ball double down in the left field corner. So Country Littell will be coming in to take over now. He's a hard-throwing right-hander who this year won 8 and lost 4. He made 60 appearances, and all of those were in relief except for 1. He did not have a complete game, and he had a total of 16 saves to his credit. All the Yankees are now sitting a lot prettier than they were before. They've got the lead 4-1, and it's up to Littell to try to close the door against further Yankee scoring here in the first half of the ninth inning. Big hit for Roy White, and it doesn't surprise anybody because he's made a batch of them in his career with the New York Yankees. White came to this ball club just a year late. Until this year, had not tasted championship series glory or anything like it, as the Yanks had some lean years after 1964, and White had come with them in 1965. But now he's with it, and in this particular game at least, has made the most of it. Herman Munson is up 1 for 4. White at second base, 2 outs, 2 runs in. The Yankees leading 4-1. Littell, youngster who, as Ernie said, it can really blow smoke. He throws as hard as any relief pitcher in the American League. He was entrusted with a lot with this ball club this year as a rookie, but he came through nicely with a 16 saves.
Working now to Munson. Little pop foul coming back. Maybe some room now for Watson. Near the screen. No, it's on the screen. Littell, who maybe the relief pitcher of the year for a rookie in the American League, has had a history this season of being up with his stuff when he first comes into the game, maybe because he's so strong. And the fastball sails, sometimes sails out of the strike zone. That one sailed, and Munson fouled it back. Herman going through all those mannerisms, thrusting the arm out at home plate, wiggling the neck. Fouls this one back, out of play, and the count is 0-2. In Game 2, tomorrow night, Sunday night, Dennis Leonard, right-hander, will go for the Royals. And he'll be opposed by what many consider the best Yankee pitcher of this year, Ed Figueroa, who made a big run at winning 20. Right-hander, a short armor with good sinking stuff, just gets the job done. 0-2 to Munson. Fastball up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yankees 4, Royals 1. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Gura got the first 2 batters on fly balls to center, but then the single by Stanley opened it up for Rivers with the infield hit and White with the double. The delivery, fastball, fouled off by Munson again. Couldn't get the bat around. It's out of play. Herman riding him up and in. One of the pitchers in the American League with the best success against Munson has been Mike Torres. Now the Oakland A's, when he pitched for Baltimore, he pitched very effectively against Munson and worked him that way. Long look now by Littell. Here's the set. And the pitch. A ball outside. Let's pause 10 seconds here for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
You're listening to the voice of information for the American Forces at 790 and 1420.
Back at Royal Stadium, Munson the batter with a count of 2-2. Roy White at second base, 2 outs in the Yankee ninth, and the Yankees leading 4-1. Ground ball to shortstop. Dug up by Patek. Fires across to Mayberry. Munson is out, and the side is retired. But the Yankees do more damage in the ninth. They get 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave 1. And in the middle of the ninth inning, the score is the Yankees 4, the Royals 1.
Okay, last shot for Kansas City here in Game 1 of this American League playoff game from Kansas City. Just an important programming note because of the brevity of this baseball game. I know that at 19:30 GMT Saturday, we're scheduled to join the Oklahoma Football Network for the Oklahoma-Texas football game. And for all you stations planning to carry this broadcast, we remind you that we will not join that ball game until 2:00 GMT. In other words, at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. That's in about 58 minutes from now. So we'll rejoin normal programming until that time if the ball game ends before 19:30 GMT. So if the ball game gets over with, this game you're listening to right now, within the half hour, we will not join the Oklahoma Baseball Network, Football Network for that football game for about another 57 minutes or so. That is part of the AFRTS contingency plan regarding this baseball game.
All right, we're moving now to the bottom of the ninth inning. As Catfish Hunter is 3 outs away from winning his 4th American League Championship playoff game. The Yankees are leading 4-1, and Bob Stinson is going to pinch hit. Stinson, another of the catchers that the Royals have, will bat for John Watson. Bob Stinson, batting left against Catfish Hunter. Stinson is a switch hitter. On the year, he hit 263 in 79 games. 2 homers and 25 RBIs. Hunter works, and Simpson pulls a foul off to the left. The Royals down to the last 3 outs. They trail by 3 runs. Simpson up with Wolford scheduled next. Catfish Hunter kicks and delivers. Little ground ball hits foul outside of first. Steve Boros, the first base coach. Chuck Hiller is the third base coach for the Royals. Yankees leading 4-1 in the ninth of game 1. Hunter throws high and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hunter winds and throws, and another style ball, this time back on the screen.
Ed, we've had word from Philadelphia. The rain is letting up there. The game probably will be played tonight, and most of these CBS stations will take that game at 8:05 with Ralph Kiner and Jerry Coleman, 2 former home run hitters.
Okay. There's a high fly ball down into shallow left coming on Roy White, and he makes the grab. Stanley, the shortstop, went back, but White says, I've got it, and made kind of a shaky catch because the sun is still tough out in left field. 1 out in the Royal ninth. Jim Wolford is up. He has been called out on strike and flied to right field. Came on to play when Amos Otis sprained an ankle, running out a bunt in the first inning. I don't know how Otis will be for tomorrow. The pitch is inside for a ball. And right there, right off the bat, things went bad. This was a bad first inning for the Royals all the way around. 1-0 pitch. Wolford sends a fly ball to right center field, fairly deep, but Rivers tracks it down, gives way to his right fielder, Maddox, who makes the catch. Elliot Maddox makes the put out, and now the Royals have 2 outs in the ninth inning, trailing by 3 runs. George Brett, who has accounted for 2 hits off Hunter. He has singled twice off him. 2 throwing errors in the first inning, paving the way to 2 runs. One of them charged as unearned. Right now, that appears to be academic, although things may have been going differently. But Roy White's clutch base hit in the ninth inning added a couple of the Yankees' lead. There's a called strike.
Reinforce security, please.
Brett the batter with 2 outs. Hal McRae is on deck. This one misses outside, a ball. Hunter working quickly, sniffing victory, throws outside. The count is 2-1. Pitch to Brett, foul back. 2-2. There's 2 outs. Hunter has been the money pitcher that everybody knows he is today. He's been on top of the situation. Kansas City run came in the 8th inning on a triple by Collins and a ground ball by Fouquet. Brett backs out a moment. Hunter winds and throws, and there's a liner to left field. Another hit for Brett. 1 hopper to Roy White. Brett is 3 for 4. He goes up the middle a lot and to the opposite of the field. He'll use all parts of the field. And he has been a sweet swinger against Catfish Hunter. So the Royals are still alive in the 9th inning. And here's Hal McRae. And he's overdue against Hunter. He has struck out twice and popped up, as Catfish has handled him well. McRae would like to get on because the on-deck hitter is a home run threat. There's a bunt on the third base line. It's foul. It started down the line in foul ground. It appeared that it might go back into fair territory, so Neville quickly got it. Had he let that run and it's gone back to the line, it would have been a base hit. McRae trying to get on just to provide 2 base runners and allow the tying run to come to the plate, and the guy that has the most ability to hit one out of here, John Mayberry. That was with George Brett getting 3 hits in this ball game. That's the 30th game this season, counting the regular season. He's had 3 hits or more. He had some 4-hit games and 5-hit games, too. Here's the pitch. Well, line drive. The third is caught, and it's all over. Greg Nettles spears a line drive off the bat of Hal McRae, and the Yankees take game 1. Well hit ball by McRae. Had it been a little bit higher, it might have been an interesting another couple of minutes, but it wasn't to be, and the Yankees take the initial advantage in game 1.
Okay, so the New York Yankees, 4 runs on 12 hits and no errors, a run 5 and none for Kansas City. So New York has taken game 1.